Hello guys, welcome to Beyond Injury Time. We are going to discuss the most anticipated game for us actually, the face-off between the United boys and the Arsenal boy. And look at the guy, he's already rubbing his hands because we know what happened and we know how it happened. And I obviously enjoyed the game as a neutral, but I don't feel like the United boys enjoyed it too much. So yeah, let's start. Let's start with Rajesh. I just tell me, man, how do you?
No, I'd
How,
like Abhay to go because obviously it was a home game for them.
He has the bragging rights.
Yeah.
I
He has the
wanted I
bragging rights also.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay,
तो
Abhay, you can
रोने वाला
start.
थोड़ा बाद में करेंगे.
Yeah.
I wanted Abhay to rub it in a little bit after they have done something, but it's okay.
No, I'll come back again. It's okay.
How
It's
does it
okay.
feel, man? How does it
Hey,
feel?
man.
Firstly, I didn't realize that we were going to have an international break, so I'm really happy. For 2 weeks, I can brag, right?
Yeah,
I'm really,
man,
really
yeah.
happy about that because these 2 weeks would have been so long if we would have lost.
Yeah.
And that too after dominating, which would have been a little bit typical Arsenal, actually. I shouldn't be saying it, but that's what it is because I've always seen for the last few years, in fact, since a long time, it's always been that United play a much more physical team.
Mm-hmm.
Arsenal plays a technical team. Arsenal dominates.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
then on
since the
counter,
invention
we-
of XG, it is Arsenal whose XG is always greater, and United almost have less than half of what XG has Arsenal. But
Today I
yet,
would like to
Yeah,
like to introduce something called as field tilt because I'm like there's people have had enough of XG, it seems, right? But on the whole, I would say that to be fair, I think United's team was not at its best because obviously they bought midfielder Amrabat, who looks probably
Klaus played,
something
man.
like. But anyways, right? But other than that, I think I like the look of Hoyland. But when we played, right, I was so disappointed because we were missing so much. It was crazy. Like Howard's तो मतलब scam चल रहा है यार. Howard's is
This guy cannot hit a ball or what?
Oh, that was fantastic.
Ideally, I'm really happy that we won. Obviously, I'm really happy, and I was over the moon. I was shouting, screaming, right? And midway through the chat, so guys, we have a group chat of sorts, and Abhay Jogekar out here was saying, "Yaar, Onana Ramsdale ka clean sheet gaya." I'm like, bro,
That's what I cared about, man.
I'm like, bro, look at the match. What's happening here?
African वाले लोग.
Yeah, but I would say Arsenal lack a clinical edge really badly. And I mean, after the match, I was happy, but I wasn't over the moon because there was, how do I say, it should have been a match which we should have put away a long time back. And we always gave them a chance, always. And credit to United because they waited for the chances, right? They waited for the chances. But when I played, when we were playing United, it almost felt like we were playing a Leicester team that had actually won the league, right? In terms of the way they played, is what I'm saying. As in, they would sit back, wait for it, and then on the right time they would counter, right? So it felt like that. And to be fair, what a goal by Rashford! What a goal by Rashford! I mean, I kudos to that. But I think Gabriel Jesus' goal topped it off because he said Dallo just went sliding to
Oh,
God knows.
yeah. That was just almost at the end, I think, almost at the end of the match. And it actually, the way it was going, it felt like that it was going to happen because United was committing so much. So it probably made sense a little bit.
I think
But
the time they were on the front foot was in the end when you put another goal, right? Then only United looked like they wanted to get something. I think they were very content of having a 1 point out of this game. They were outplayed.
So
I think we have two United boys. I feel like we should get their perspective. What did you guys think, man? How did you guys play?
So I mean, look, the game. I mean, we knew that we were going to play in transition. That is for sure. But I was surprised a little bit as to how Arsenal approached the game at home. So I was mightily surprised in the first half because what Arsenal were doing is, and that too, I feel kind of Arsenal and Arteta have learned from the last season is that you don't have to go gung ho against United because they are going to play in transition and they're going to kill you. Because what you will notice is that as bad as United were in midfield, United had the lion's share of possession in the first half, around 50, above 50, 57%. So what Arsenal were trying to do is they were not pressing us at all. That's why all the possession was between Lindelof,
In your own
Martinez,
half.
Onana, and the wing backs. That's
Yeah,
all.
yeah.
If you, that's what stats can do to you. Stats always lie. People say stats don't lie, but stats always lie. Because if you look at the stats and say, oh, United were controlling the game. The problem is that United were not controlling the game. United were just unable to get the ball through the midfield and play in transition. Okay, so Arsenal overloaded that midfield in our half or their half towards the center of the pitch, and we were unable to play through the middle. We wanted to engage Eriksen a lot so that Eriksen passes to our forwards or the wingers, and then we make a run through the channel. When that Rashford goal happened, surprisingly, if you notice just the action before that, Rice went out of position and was pressing our fullback, which is not his position, and that is exactly where the goal came. After that, he went out of position. We were waiting for that one moment to strike, and that is exactly where we struck because their number 6 was out of position. So I appreciate the goal and the tactical awareness of our players to keep patient, suffer, and then Rashford's efficiency again. Rashford scores left wing, he's brilliant. So that's the summary of the first half. We again, Arsenal were imposing, but what saddens me more is that after Rashford scores the goal, you cannot fucking concede immediately after. We lost shape. Just before that, Martinez was shouting at Eriksen that cover Odegaard, cover that central space. He did not cover. Odegaard did not have to do anything. He had a free shot at goal, man.
United even did not have a touch, right? After Arsenal kickoff, after the.
I don't remember us having a touch. It was immediately after from the kick, from the
35
kickoff.
seconds from the kickoff.
It's not like
35 seconds.
Even that they lost
it's
shape.
Also, I want to put this on record a little bit. The goal that Arsenal conceded was really bad. I mean, that was
really
bad defending.
Really pathetic, man.
I was like, what is that defending, man? I mean, Rashford should be able. Rashford is Rashford. He's going to take a shot. But what horrendous defending was that?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Two defenders.
Two defenders.
Yeah.
One below the other.
And
that is not how it is.
Yes,
But it's interesting that Rajesh says about Declan Rice that because I remember a goal that was chopped off of Garnacho. In the similar scenario, what happened was Rice went to tackle the person, right, who gave the ball to Garnacho, and he went out of position. He didn't need to go. So it had come to my mind, but it's interesting that it seems that Declan Rice needs to learn a bit. I think he had a good game, but in terms of positioning and when to push, I think it's interesting how Rajesh pointed out, because I was also like, Acha, Garnacho's goal, it happened, but I didn't know it had happened in the previous goal as well.
Okay. So yeah, we'll come back to Rice and his goal, obviously. But before that, I want to come back to Manish, and I want to understand what
Manish bhai phad dena decision ka chalu kar de.
Yeah, what do you took away from the game, man?
Decision ka nahi, but as a United fan, like I am really upset the way the match ended. But I'm really happy with how United played. Like with the squad which we had for the match, we had players injured. We didn't have our proper starting 11. We had Eriksen in the midfield, and he ran throughout the pitch. So and it was a away game for United, and the onus was on Arsenal to perform. And so Arsenal really started well. United did not. So we were like, okay, Arsenal is going to score, but then United also came back. Like they had some control, and then they scored out of the blue. And then it is a really disappointing thing that only after that goal, after 35 seconds, we conceded. Because had it been 1-0 in United's favor, the game would have been really different. Means Arsenal would be looking for the goal. We would just be waiting for the counter attack. We would have just defended and waited for that opportunity.
Could have killed the game actually.
That is the kind of thing any away team would hope when they go to Arsenal. But it didn't happen. Okay, no problem. But then again in the second half, it was not like Arsenal were banging chance after chance and United were just surviving there. It didn't happen like that. United also had some ball. Arsenal, mind you, had a very good chance. Saka hit the ball straight to Onana. I thought that was a clear goal. I mean, that was the point where I thought, okay, now ab to gaya bhai, haar gaya hum. But then somehow it got saved and United were still in the game. That is the point I like. And the way I was really happy with when Onana was signed, it clearly showed in this game. Like Arsenal players were not pressing when Onana had the ball.
They were absolutely not pressing Onana.
Yeah, they're not. There were some instances where someone like Havertz or Odegaard started running, and then it was a trigger pressing. But then Onana was so cool; he chipped it from here and there, and then we got the ball. I accept that. Okay, every time they give the pass to Rashford, there was Ben White from Arsenal who was like cutting in that process. But yeah, we stayed in the game and we almost won it. Like if you saw that offside.
But
goal,
I guess, don't you think, Manish, that the injury to both of our centre backs. So basically, we had to field our third set of centre backs that should have played. Varane Martinez first set hai. Second set is Lindelof Martinez. We had to play the third set, which is Johnny freaking Evans, who just signed a contract, who should be retiring by now. Okay. हाँ मतलब अपन थोड़ा retirement home भी है. Johnny Evans's wife actually works for MUTV. So ETH थोड़ा बोला कि चलो ठीक है, सिफारिश कर लेते हैं तुम्हारा, हायर कर लिया उसको 6 महीने के कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में. So Johnny Evans and
I thought
Maguire.
he brought in Johnny Evans just Maguire को जलाने के लिए. मैं Johnny Evans लेके
भाई मैगवायर से पहले अगर जॉनी इवेंस को ले आता ना तो जल के राख हो जाता मैगवायर.
Out of everyone, I think had a really good game. He was like tackling, he was putting his feet in everywhere, right? He was blocking every shot that was coming out.
Who?
Martinez.
Martinez was superb. Martinez was superb. But
I think that then United looked a little. I think only two players from United stood out for me, which was Rashford and Rashford was the only one who is causing any problem to Arsenal.
I feel the man of the match, in my opinion, was Dalot. He did not let Saka play his game, the entire game. He had him in his pocket, and Abhay will agree to.
Because Saka did not have a
good game at all. Dalot,
according to his standards.
Of course. He has a standard as good as Rashford. The way Rashford impacts games, Saka also impacts more, in fact. Because Saka has a different game. He goes by the byline. He contributes more with Odegaard and all. So I rate Saka actually. But he had a poor game, and I feel Dalot had a brilliant game defensively.
Abhay bhai, I think you want to speak a lot. I think after Manish has spoken, I am seeing Abhay smile.
I guess we should discuss the decisions a little bit.
We would discuss the decisions, but I'm kind of surprised that United fans were happy with the game because, if I was just looking at the game and I'm like, probably the team has changed or probably the mentality has changed because if I am United, if the tables were turned, I would have been really pissed. I would have been really pissed.
I'll tell you a little bit of a perspective.
Upset with the result and the way we lost the game.
Yeah.
But the performance-wise, really, really happy. Like not 100% happy, but yes, 90% happy.
I did not feel United threatening a lot, man. Arsenal was knocking on the door, but
Arsenal was not clinical enough.
They did not have a biting tooth at the end, but if they would have, it would have been a very big scoreline to go again.
No, I want to answer that particular question. Why we are not happy, or yes, the first point is that the amount of injuries that has hit Tenak, he hasn't able to field his proper 11 in the 4 matches, and at the start of the season it becomes really difficult, and you're facing an Arsenal team at Emirates. You had to face a Spurs team, regenerated Spurs team at their home. So we haven't had that kind of a moment where the team structure, the team would gel properly and we would have some kind of cohesion going. But in the context of all that, and how the past 3 games have gone, we as United fans saw great attributes. We were very good defensively. We were very good defensively. I understand the scoreline may not reflect that, but the way the gaping holes in midfield and the amount of chances we conceded, right, in the past 3 games, that was corrected somehow. That structure was there still.
So I just want to say that your past 3 games would have been really horrendous then. That's all I want to
That's
say.
what I'm saying. I mean, that's why this was a more
They were
complete
very
game.
bad.
And Hoyland, you
So-
mentioned at the start, pretty impressive. The first
Hoyland
looks,
was
man.
he looks a very physical specimen.
Very physical specimen. Yeah,
You
I mean,
guys-
he was
you
asked
guys-
right in his
No,
interview.
that
I want
specimen
to-
and all
I
it's
want
to,
okay, but we could
ask
have
about
got a
one
penalty there. That is
What
one
do you-
point I would
Yeah.
say. Like, because the way you gave penalty when Havertz fell down, it was a double penalty when
Oh,
Rashford
wonderful
Hoyland
point.
was fouled.
भाई अगर
means-
तुम
My
उसको penalty
God,
दे
my
रहे हो,
God. Bro,
If you're giving a penalty for Havertz
It
dive,
wasn't
UK
given,
dive
no?
था.
It wasn't given, no, and
It
it was
wasn't
taken
given.
back. No?
No,
It was
I'm
taken
saying
back.
no, it
but
was
the on-field
given,
referee
and
did
then
not give
VAR
it first.
checked it. What I'm saying is,
My
give the
God,
penalty
United
for
fans
Haaland.
talking about
or
referee
Hoyland.
decisions. This is new.
अरे भाई तू लॉजिकली बोल ना, मैं ये बोल रहा हूँ कि रैशफोर्ड अगर हैवर्ट्स का तुम ऑन फील्ड रेफरी कॉल्स इट अ पेनल्टी, एटलीस्ट फॉर हॉयलैंड the on-field referee should call it a penalty, and then the VAR overrules it. That's a different scenario. Why the problem is about inconsistency.
Did not get a penalty, right? Final shots were no penalty. That's it.
No,
Sorry.
it's not like that. No, I mean,
Final
like,
decision is no penalty, right? So there is
no, it's not like that. If had Hoyland penalty was given, VAR check would have resulted in a penalty, not overruling that.
Okay, that is a different thing. But
That
was
is
it a
probably
penalty?
why referee didn't give that a penalty.
Was it a penalty
Well,
or
we
not?
can
Do
debate
realize
all
that
over it, but
Lindelof should have got a red card.
Yeah,
Like,
Saka would have also
Saka
got a
would
red
have
card.
got a red card.
No, that wouldn't have been a red. Okay,
Then this wouldn't have been a red.
No, that wouldn't have been a red because just before that, Dalot had made a foul on Saka, and Saka was already tripping when he went for the ball. If you see, if there is a video of that,
Bhai, their
See,
Premier
in
League
case
rule
of
in this
Lindelof,
game,
there was nobody.
There
Premier
were
League rule
challenges
कहता है,
which could have been red card, which could have been second yellow, which could have been more than a yellow. But referee conducted the game really well. Like he didn't
that
want
is for
he
sure.
didn't want the red cards or yellow card to be the
You know,
talking points.
United lost,
So,
but
he did the match,
but
man.
we
He was
both
very
are
bad.
on the same page here that referee had a good game.
Right.
It's not a horrendous game. Still, we lost the game. Hoyland won was, even Abhay would agree, on other games, those would be given. But again,
I wouldn't.
Hoyland won.
Was it?
Hoyland won.
I would if Havertz was also
If the-
given.
Havertz or
No,
Hoyland
yaar,
won?
this is not.
तू कैसे compare कर रहा है?
He didn't have a contact.
I'm sorry,
yaar,
It
Abhay.
sets a bad
I'm sorry,
precedence
but-
actually,
but-
if you say it.
Okay, I'll be very honest.
The VAR would have overruled it, right?
No, let's hear it from him.
To be very honest, I think I actually thought that Havertz wouldn't be overruled, right? I wouldn't because it should be clear and obvious, right? Clear and obvious. And secondly, I was a little unhappy with the Lindelof one, right? I was unhappy because the guy actually hit Nketiah's head and the position where he was in.
But he was trying to get the ball away.
Yeah, I
Ball तो
understand.
इतने.
Even if you place your feet that way, if you don't hit somebody, then also it gets given a foul.
See,
But again,
we try ifs and buts, right?
Yeah.
But here we are with the 3
See,
points.
you know,
Yes,
I
you
feel
guys
like-
won.
I feel like
Enjoy
You guys
your
won
day, enjoy your
deservedly.
weekend.
I agree. Deservedly 3 points.
I would say.
Come
Well
to Old
deserved 3
Trafford.
points.
We'll see.
see, it's
Yeah,
good.
come
and-
to Old
Oh,
Trafford.
yeah.
The cards were not given.
It's no
It
more
was-
of theater of dreams as it is. It's more of
See,
Yeah.
for a
it's
change, I feel
nightmare.
like it was not a game that was decided by a referee decision or something. It was decided by
It was
2
decided,
goals.
dude.
It was, dude, see, that's the thing, right? You could have gotten a red, he could have gotten a red, there could have been penalty. That's
Acha,
nothing was
crisscross
given.
cancel.
Crisscross cancel. I feel
Adme.
like it's still the goals that decided. And I think Arsenal gets the bragging right for 2
You are
weeks.
not throwing
Good for
away.
you.
Okay.
Good for you. And I
Okay.
think United, maybe they'll have to wait for the
By the way, our first
fixture
BIT
now.
clash, man.
Yeah, that's why the most exciting stuff.
Bro,
Yeah.
next time Joga, you say I'm losing points on FPL. I swear I come to
I
Bangalore
swear,
and I'll-
I am going to kick you out of the group.
Oh my god.